just joining me, just go ahead and begin to connect with your breath. Just see if now you can just slow your breathing down. You're just getting settled into this practice for the next 45 minutes to an hour. See if you can turn the volume down on the external world that you've just been involved with, whatever you were just doing. See if you can actually consciously take whatever activity or non-activity and just kind of put it on the back burner as you begin to become present with your inhale and then your exhale. As we learn to breathe fully, it actually helps our lungs, helps our diaphragm. Most of us shallow breathe. We breathe just in the top third of our lung cavity. So tonight we're going to really practice getting deeply into the bottom of the bellows of the breath. The practice begins with just an inhale of 6 or 7 counts. So you may even say, I'm breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Holding your breath at the top for 2 deeply, maybe even breathing in deeper, deeper, deeper. And then let's just let that exhale sift out. It's like sifting flour through a flour sifter or sand through an hourglass. So it's just this oozing of the exhale. And just begin that rhythm again as we breathe in, 6 or 7. Deep into the belly button, all the way down. It takes conscious awareness of how we regulate the breath. Just starting out with that awareness of our breath, consciously becoming one and just making friends with the awareness of slowing down the breathing and getting the fullness of all of our full lung capacity. And this helps with everything in life right now. Yeah, there we go. So we're just going to begin the practice, if you're new to the class or not, just bringing myself out of the picture and just letting you focus on the candle, the beautiful flower, and you're just laying down on your back, finding maybe pillows if you have them in your home. It's warm enough that we probably don't need blankets. Very hot day today. We're just beginning as we lay on our back, and we can bend the knees to support the back. We're not really in a savasana. I just want you to begin to notice the inhale. I'm going to bring that breath in for a count of 6 or 7. And as we become more deeper aware of our inhale and our exhale, and just notice the thoughts. You're just we're just starting at 6:30, so there may be time where the brain is still in transition from just coming into the class. So the way we can break that transition or bring it in is just by noticing, and you can breathe in for a count of 6 or 7. And we're just holding the breath for a count of 2 and slowly exhaling. We want to do this for at least 5 minutes to re-center and re-ground before we begin again the active practice. So we want to really feel the side of the body, the bellows, or the last rib expanding. If you're just new to this breath work, this is really the primal foundation of our Yin Yoga practice. If you've had any anxiety or stress today, yesterday, the day before, this will help. As we come in community, we're here together. There's at least 4 of us right now together. We could do this alone, but being together and knowing, even though we're virtual, creates a vortex of connection, and there's energy swirling. And just imagine a little vortex of connection as we are just beings, cells, having the same desire and same focus in this moment. As you breathe, just keep the mouth softly open. It doesn't have to close. It just can be soft. Lips are soft. Tongue is soft. Just see if you can imagine just letting the jaw, any tension you've had in your throat, even in your outer jaw. And now let the eyes soften too. Getting into that vagal nerve or the vagus nerve, all the way into where the cortisol, stress, fight or flight kind of gets stuck. So as we just notice the inhale, rising, rising, rising. We just welcome this hot day today. Be lazy, maybe loving it, maybe not. Just noticing what thoughts come up. Just let's add on something and just bring the tongue behind the 2 front teeth. If you bring the tongue behind the 2 front teeth, there's a nice little mudra or an alignment which softens the jaw and actually creates a softening of the breath. And then as the breath softens and regulates, the mind starts beginning to let go of its crazy thoughts. As we know, there's lots of things going on in the mind. Yeah, so just continuing that breath, just another couple minutes as we begin the active practice. We hold our poses for 2 to 4 minutes minimum. And just feel your body just heavy onto Mother Earth right now, grounded, still stable, right here. Every single bone, the structure of your physical body, feeling supported and nurtured and safe in your own home with all of us together right now, just feeling the heaviness. So you're not lifting off Mother Earth, but you're staying here. Even though it can be frustrating and not easy to be here right now. We're in a timeline, once every 100 years, and we're here. And in a lot of ways, there's a lot of gifts that are going to be coming out of this timeline. A lot of transformation, a lot of rebirthing, a lot of shedding of the old ways, and welcoming the discomfort of a new birth. That's what's really happening. We're really, really in the birthing canal right now. Just let your physical being be okay with transforming tonight. Transforming thoughts, transforming the body. So as we begin our active practice, I'm going to come down and move this out of the way just a little bit so I can come with you. Laying on your back, let's just bring the knees up into the chest, really tugging them in. And maybe there's a gentle rock. Feeling the cross of the sacrum. Let's see if we can come back to the breath and feel the expansion of the belly on the top of the thighs now. Love when my belly hits the top of my thighs. This is the time we can feel full of breath instead of feeling fat. We're full of breath, full of life force, full of prana. And let's take the hands out of the hug to the knees and just bring those arms all the way overhead, and now drop the feet. Right foot comes down, left foot joins. The gaze is up towards your ceiling. Try not to judge your ceiling if you notice it needs to be painted, right? It's like, okay, oh. I'm looking at a 1929 lighting fixture I put in when I bought my house 20 years ago, and it's really nice to look at. So notice the visual is fingertips stretching above you. Let's drop the thumb and expand. Palms are up, stretching out the fingers. Beautiful. Yeah, really reaching, feet are grounded. And let's just go ahead and bring the knees back into the chest and hug one more time. And notice the cocooning and the opposition of this cocoon of the knees into the chest. Maybe the left foot is over the right foot, or the right foot is over the left foot. Notice what naturally felt comfortable. My left foot over my right, which in some theories would say that the feminine is over the masculine, the right over the left, masculine over the feminine. It doesn't really matter. It's interesting, my left wanted to go on my right. And let's again release and bring the arms all the way overhead. Now ground the feet and lift the hips up into bridge pose. Still arms are overhead. Walk the feet closer to the hips, tucking the chin into the chest. Arms are still overhead. Rounding through all four corners of the feet, squeezing the glutes. Just kind of spiraling the kneecaps towards the midline. So we're contracting through the quads to fully engage the glutes. And let's transition for the next 2 or 3 minutes by bringing the arms next and reaching the arms under. If you have a block or a bolster or even a nice big pillow, you can soften this bridge pose even more by bringing the pillow, block, rolled up towel underneath your hips. And once you settle in, come back consciously to that slow inhale. And drifting of that exhale like a feather floating in the wind. Again, tongue is behind the 2 front teeth. And you're alone, so letting any feelings that come up not be squelched. Just letting whatever, if it's sadness, anxiety, joy, bliss, just maybe you're in the middle road. You're just kind of not overly exuberant and not overly traumatized or sad. So letting whatever feelings come up and noticing what is your mood of the day, what's going on. It changes sometimes day by day, moment by moment, hour by hour. As we recognize nothing stays the same. Soft lips, soft jaw. And anytime this feels uncomfortable, you can just drop the hips down and then re-engage that bridge again. Keep the breath circulating. Really feel the expansion of the lower belly. Just slowly drop the hips and bring the knees back into the chest, rocking side to side. This time, just gently bring a right leg, like you're curtsying or cross leg over the left. So we're nice in a nice position of a reclining eagle pose. So that right leg comes over, and we're going to take a twist from here to the left side. If your right leg is on top, you're going to go to the left, and if your left is, you're going to go to the right. So just take that twist. Just focus on the lower body first. Don't worry about the upper body. Just take that twist and just go super slow as you feel the bottom of your lower spine, sacrum, tailbone, across the hip. So just grounding and letting that knee drop into Mama Earth. And then once that lower body is in that twist, where we're really expanding through the ribs now, let's bring the awareness up to the center of our body, from the hip into the armpit, and let's focus on letting the ribs release as we bring that opposite arm up overhead first. And you can take that left hand and reach and gently pull the ribs. So we're stretching the ribs. You want to keep the tactileness of the touch. You may not be touched by very many, maybe just one, maybe two, maybe none, which is a really hard thing. So really just reach and just kind of open up the ribs. Feel your own ribs right now. Intercostals, maybe even massage underneath the lats, and then just gently find your diaphragm, which is under the lat strip, and just push in there a little bit. And that should be fairly soft. If it's not soft, it's a good tip of how we want to breathe deeper. And let's just stay here in the next 3 minutes in minor silence. Continuing to circulate the breath. Maybe the knees come closer to the armpit. And dropping as your body embraces this yin pose, reclining eagle. And we'll take some time for the joint capsules, tendons, and ligaments to actually cooperate sometimes. It doesn't like to be rushed, so we just Breathe and be patient. Let time just tick away. Letting go of the hurries. I really think that this sacred time in our lives is all about slowing down. At least it is for me. It's just like, wow, how fast we were moving before. Breathing, exhaling. And just begin to notice any thoughts that come in and just see them as clouds in the sky. And then gently roll back on your side. This time release the left leg straight down and bring the right knee into the chest. So the left leg straightens, the right knee comes into the chest. We're gently crossing our hands, our fingers, like we're holding our own hands and bringing that knee into the chest. And from here, let's take our next yin pose, and we'll come to the other side in a few minutes into a reclining tree. And I'm going to make sure you see this. So just drop that leg down. And if you can imagine a standing tree, we're now in a reclining tree. So that foot comes into the inner thigh. And let's bring the arms all the way overhead as we hold this reclining tree. Nice gentle pose to open up the psoas, the internal adductor. Feel the fullness of your breath. Any grief that comes up, I just gently thinking about my mother, who I really want to see, who's 82, and I don't know when I'm going to see her. Maybe some of you are in that same position this evening where you have that unknowing. We don't know. We sit in this time of really not knowing what choice is right or wrong. So being with that uncertainty can be very ungrounding, and just honoring that feeling of uncertainty right now, maybe most of us. Holding that tree, knowing that all nature is exuberant right now without all the human beings polluting them. It's like, okay, just imagine all the nature also having compassion for the human race right now. I was just in the redwoods of Santa Cruz yesterday, and I just felt the energy of the liveness of the redwood trees that have been here for hundreds of years, standing tall, standing strong, watching different waves of human challenges without moving. So from that reclining tree, let's just bring both knees back into the chest. Bring the arms back into the knees, rocking side to side. Notice if you lost contact with the breath. Notice if you just kind of drifted and started shallow breathing again. And come back to the awareness of the belly rising and falling on the upper thighs. And let's again, this time, bring the left over the right, or if you did the right over the left, the opposite, as we come into that reclining pit, the reclining eagle pose, and take that twist to the opposite side so the knees come all the way across. Beautiful. I'm holding that there. Just noticing who's here today. Lois and Susan. And someone I don't know, but I can't tell, but that's okay. I kind of like the idea that we are anonymous sometimes, you know? We're here. Such a beautiful time to be anonymous, that we're not being seen, really. Our ego wants to be shining all the time. This is a time that, you know, we could wear our masks and we're hiding, you know, but our souls are still shining through. Yeah. Holding that reclining ego. Just another minute. See if you can move deeper here now, following the breath. Again, we want to like possibly reach and pull the ribs gently away from the upper armpit. So as we age and we don't deep breathe, we contract the ribs and they shorten. You want to really open up, and you can bring that opposite arm up overhead and gently just kind of almost like you're raking in between the ribs, just kind of finding each of the grooves of the cage of the ribs, and just slowly just taking your fingers and opening up the chakras or the energy marmas of the ribs. Just opening, reaching, noticing the bones on top of the ribs, into the lats. How often do we really let the ribs breathe? The cage around the heart, the lungs can get tightened through stress, through contraction, through age. This is a beautiful pose, asana, to open up and expand the rib cage. Slowly come back on our side. Extend the opposite leg out, come into that reclining tree. Arms can be overhead, or some of you may want to take the arms in a cross pose. And notice the thoughts that come up in the mind. into loving kindness for your heart, for your thoughts, compassion, softening the judgmental mind of judging others or yourself. And that's a big one, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And slowly letting that leg down. Let's just bring the knees into the chest and slowly lift the upper body up. So we're going to come into a seated. We'll try to face. And let's come into a half lotus. And we're going to place that leg up into that half lotus. Just bring that leg up in a cross-legged position. If it doesn't happen, find a position that feels good. Yeah, and then just start the energy or the awareness through the base of your tailbone. And just bring that awareness so you're almost like looking inward into the lower sacrum right now. So you're just taking a little journey right there behind you. And let's see if we can lengthen the spine by breathing in and lifting the heart. Palms can be right or left. Soft mouth, soft jaw. And let's just bring that awareness up to the upper back behind the chest now. See if you can just ground through the sit bones. So we're just not going through the motions. We're actually stopping here. See if you can imagine each of the vertebrae stretching and lengthening and lengthening and lengthening. And now we can continue to breath. Maybe close your eyes slightly. I want you to imagine exhaling through the crown of your head and releasing the exhale towards the heavens, towards that beautiful full moon. Continuing to bring that awareness to the lengthening of the spine, the exhale through the crown of the head. Let's just notice if the shoulders came forward and just rotate them down and back. Holding this half lotus before we move any further. Let's take that upward prayer. So bring the hands up overhead. Big reach, reaching through the crown of the head. Square off the chin. So we're not looking up, but we're just right looking forward. And now draw the arms back in the softness of the inner arms towards the ears. And then slowly bring the energy into your heart or the chi. Yeah. And then just fingertip to fingertip, feel the chi, feel that energy. And let's just now take that nice forward fold. Walk the hands out for a nice hip opener here. Beautiful. So we're just walking the hands, straightening through the arms, grounding through the sit bone. So there's no lift like here. We're just reaching and sitting. And you may find a bolster or a pillow a nice prop to have right now too. You can put it underneath your hips. Yeah, some of you are reaching for that nice. And let's stay here for at least 3 minutes. See if you can move deeper and keeping the elbows bent. Reaching with the fingertips, like walking the fingertips, dropping the elbows in. So you're getting really into the lower spine, hips. Anytime it becomes painful, just move away. No one will know that you're taking a break, which is really nice, and no one cares. So just find that place where you're just at that point where there's a little bit of a movement or um, a stretch, but not to the point where your brain goes into fight or flight. There's that fine line, that sweet spot where it's like yes, and then maybe a little shifting back, and then using the breath to move deeper. So using the regulation of the breath, and then listening to your body, connecting. Is it saying yes? Move deeper. Is it saying no, back out? Unwind the legs. Take a drink of water. Lay down on your back. Beautiful. And slowly walking the hands back, and then just take those legs and release them out, and notice how good it feels to maybe to give the knees a little massage. Yeah. And then take the legs all the way out into a straddle, so we're lifting into the inner thighs. Yeah. And then just hold. Maybe you just kind of feel and maybe give yourself a little massage. Low. And then let's just take a nice, and I'm going to show you a nice hard flex of the feet. Nice hard flex. So flex the toes toward your hips and then point. Let's just take it. Flex and point. It feels so nice. Yeah. Flex and point. And hold that hard flex. Nice. And let's slowly come into that straddle fold by slowly walking again. Just holding here, noticing what's going on with the inner adductors. Adductor magnus. Coming into that big inhale. I'm just kind of working with the lungs and the breath, and then softening as we walk out deeper. Maybe that pillow is there again. Beautiful. Tongue behind the two front teeth. Again, listening to what feels good. Noticing the right side and the left side. So those of you who are new to Yin, we hold these poses a little longer. It's not just gentle yoga, we actually try to get into the ligaments, tendons, and joint capsules. Just like when you slow cook something, if you cook it fast, which I tend to do, I burn a lot of things. If you turn down the heat and use the time, like, low, and then just let the 20 minutes happen as opposed to turn it up to high to low high, and then you come back in 5 minutes, it's cooked but it's burnt. But that's the theory, is we're just letting time get into the tendons and muscles and ligaments of our own body. Our muscles are a connective tissue. It's nice and warm today, so we have that on our sides, the heat. The adductor magnus is very tight at times. Yeah. Again, if you need to back out, I love to just kind of come out and just take that little breath and then walk back in. And then I find if I walk back in and take that quick breath, I can go deeper into that. Notice if the mind wants to leave, it just wants to escape. Mind just kind of went, oh, it says my right leg is really tight. Notice what thoughts are coming on. And see if you can even notice if you have a thought, what happens to your face? Maybe there's a grimace. I see this a lot in myself and people. There's like a little growl. So see if you can just relax the eyes, relax the throat, somatically let go of the stress and the tension in the face. And that's what the breath will do, is just taking that breath in. And slowly walking the hands back. Beautiful. Nice. And let's just undo the feet. We're going to come into, we haven't done this yet in our Zoom class yet. Let's see if I can back a little bit. And we're going to take that challenging but very yummy pose called the dragon pose. And let me see if I can demo this. So we're going to take ourselves into just a table position and then come up and bring that left foot forward. So we're in a position of almost like a low lunge. And again, I'm just working with the camera. Low lunge here, there we go. You may not see my face, but the knee is tracking over the toe. And then I'm just gonna lean into this and straighten that back foot, back leg. That leg is straight. And then we're just kind of hanging out here first because we're getting into this pose. Beautiful. Some of you I can see are there. And you're actually very much there. Yeah, nice. I can see somebody's done this before. And now let's just back away. And we're opening through that psoas. It runs right from the top of the sternum all the way into that. And we're going to take that and then just lean away from it. So instead of falling in, we're going to be, even if you bring your arms overhead and actually do a little back bend, you're going to feel the stretch through the psoas, which is a place somatically that can carry grief, sorrow. So we're like really releasing. We can kind of lunge into it and then take that back bend. Using the breath. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it can be a doozy because the psoas can be tight. And then some of you may want to take the arm and then take a side bend away from the psoas to even deepen this pose. So there's 3 different positions. You can just be here. There's level 1, or just move a softer yin. You can take that back bend, or you can take that side bend. Again, if you notice your knee joint, you might want to wrap a towel underneath there, a blanket. I'm noticing a little bit of uncomfortable, even though I have a rug and a blanket, but it's just, I want even more than that now. I can feel that. So notice what you need. Feel as much, you can just move like I'm doing, moving in and out, or just statically hold. We're here for at least another minute. Breath in. Beautiful. Holding there. Nice. Keep holding. You've got at least another minute. Just going to bring you to my water garden for a visual if you'd like. Water garden. There is a fish in here. He's hiding. So just the Buddha sitting still, just gazing. Really opening up that psoas. Breath in, breath out. Beautiful. Just another 20 seconds or so. Beautiful. As you move out, just bring that leg back and let's just fold and come into that puppy pose. So hips are up, releasing down, forehead comes down on your mat. Holding that puppy. Beautiful, everyone. Hips are just dropping. Excuse me, hips are lifting. And just slowly bringing the hands back. Coming up into that tabletop position. And let's just take a nice cat here. Bring the belly in. Arching the back. Yeah, feels so good. Holding cat, opening up that upper back. And let's just come into that hyperlordosis of cow. All your mics are off right now, so if you want to take that lion's breath, feel free. It's a little warm today. Maybe you're in a gentler mood like I am. And beautiful cat or cow. Your body just loves us taking care of it. It just speaks to us, doesn't it? Like, thank you so much for spending this time. Oh, so undulating into that cat again and the cow, any form that feels good. Yeah, nice. And then let's just come back up into that on the knees. And remember what leg came forward before, and I'm just having to kind of bring back my mind, stepping with that. So we're in that low, I call it proposal mode, proposal pose. Will you marry me? So old school now. I don't think anybody does that anymore. No one's getting married anymore, really. And then just kind of lunge into it and lunge back. And then just kind of opening it up. And once you find there's some cooperation there, you can come into that, drawing that back leg back. And again, we have level 1 here. You can just kind of hang out. Just keep the arch in the back. If we just come here, we're really not doing a thing. Just it's actually shortens the psoas. So what lengthens it is taking that back bend and bringing the arms overhead. Grounding through all 4 corners of that standing, that leg that's on the ground, and just maybe even lifting the toes up and regrounding again. And then, of course, if you'd like to take that side bend, we get deeper and then lunge into it at the same time, draw back. So it's like a bow and arrow in a lot of ways. We're getting that. You can even take and just do some light twist here, just moving away from the opposite side. Beautiful. Just holding. Nice. Let you be there for at least a minute or so, as this can be challenging. Again, we're taking yourself in and out. If the tension or the brain goes into fight or flight, come out of the fight. Don't go into the flight either. Go into that perfect middle ground, middle path. Where is that spot where it's Goldilocks? Breath in, breath out. just another 30 seconds or so. Notice what's going on in the psoas. And just maybe notice what side is a little more cooperative or happier and what side is a little more. And that's a signal to your loving kindness to your body that maybe that side needs a little more attention. There's maybe been an injury. Breath in, breath out. It's beautiful. And as we move out, let's just ground our fingertips coming back. And let's just take a nice embryo pose, sitting all the way back. Bring the arms all the way back. Tuck in. Wrap your hands around the tops of your feet. And maybe your feet need a little massage. We can't get massages right now, so we have to be our own masseuse, our own massage. Feet are back. Feeling your chest rise and fall on your quads. It's going within to that embryo, into the birth canal, into that process of what are we shedding. You've been noticing in your solitude and your quiet meditations that is causing you to notice that this is a habit that needs to be revised, reborn. Beautiful. From this embryo is coming back up, and it's just an easy transition to slide the left foot forward and the right foot back as we come into reclining pigeon. So we're all the way down again. We can bring the arms all the way out. Again, bringing the forehead into a mat, a pillow, taking your time to get there. Slight rolling across that hip, like it feels so good for me to kind of roll, kind of moving that foot. That is, I noticed some of you did just this perfect transition. I'm seeing a few of you have your cameras on and making sure that foot that is bent is at a 90-degree angle, which can cause a little sensation like, whoa, there's my hip, there's my IT, there's my belly. So find that prop, a pillow, a block, a bolster, towel. Again, if it feels tight, just move with it. Just kind of roll and then move back. And anytime, again, we don't want to get to the point where our brain goes into, ouch, this hurts. Just move out of it. Don't force. Yeah. Work with the energy of non-force in yin. And generally in life, that is a lesson if we try to force things. Who hasn't tried that before, right? It usually doesn't work. Yeah, it usually doesn't work. Or if it does work, it's like awkward. It's like, why did I force that? Just letting the body move in deeply, gently, without force, with the continuity of the breath. join the collective community here this evening. We probably won't do this alone, and we can feel why we want to be with each other. Even though we're not together, we are together. Something about knowing that the human spirit loves to be connected. It's in our DNA. We honor that deep connection, the need to be unified through the human spirit, through the human interaction. Even if it's not even speaking, we know that we're there. The essence of the human spirit connecting together. We all need each other. Isn't that a beautiful thing? We all need each other. It's scary yet real, right? It's like we can't be an island alone. We are all cells making this unified force we call humanity. And slowly bringing that leg back and just taking a nice cat-cow, letting the blood flow back to the leg that was impinged. So there might be a warmth, a sensation that you're feeling. And when the time is right, just bringing that opposite leg, this is our final pose this evening, into that pigeon again. Yeah, again, taking your time to do whatever feels right to you in this moment. I'm just a guide, a suggester, a leader. But ultimately, we all have our own path, right? Our own practice. Living, being, breathing, life, journey, dharma, whatever word you use. Just the awakened heart tonight, awakening the heart. As we awaken the heart, there can be sorrow as our heart can be broken and feel. Yes. We welcome whatever comes up. Joy, love, sadness, sorrow, beauty. And just slowly coming back out, bringing that leg back. And then just pivoting on your side as we take our last final pose. And I'll bring in the crystal bowl this evening. And then just bringing the foot here. Just letting the blood flow back into the feet. I'm tempted to do a forward fold. It feels so good. Feeling the back of the knees. And just finding that position of comfort as we come and support ourselves before we come into that final pose of Savasana. So always just supporting yourself and then letting that left leg come out, right leg come out, and taking your body all the way down to your mat, your floor, not quite a bed, and coming down into that Savasana.
So I just allow yourself to stay a little longer and just enjoy being home. You don't have to go anywhere. So I send you nothing but love and blessings as you lay in a state of meditation, relaxation, and just embracing the sunset that's coming. Namaste. Be well and have sweet dreams. Thank you so much.